We're gonna go ahead and get started. I appreciate everybody taking the time. I know we're all covered up and busy, and it's really on a Monday afternoon. Thank God it's Monday is something I've started really saying a lot because I do. It is good to get back to work every Monday, and everybody's so focused on customers, and I know this book is another one on our love and accountability format this year. But I tell you, this book. I've never read this before, but it's such an easy book to read that I really liked it. I know Stephen, I think's read it a couple times, but we're going to try to cover the first five rules, golden rules today. But I really liked it. It's really a simple message, and it really continues. I hope all of you read it, but it continues on our customer service thought processes that we're going through. The $6,000 egg, the 10 new rules, golden rules of customer service by Deb and Todd Duncan. And I think it really strikes a chord with me. They start the story by they went to their favorite restaurant and asked for something a little bit different. And I think with me, it struck a chord because maybe when you find a place you're comfortable, like a restaurant or maybe even it's a movie theater, and you or a park, or it could be a lot of different places. You end up setting a certain level of expectation of the level of service or your outcomes, or like in their case, they love this cheeseburger. So if you can mute your phone, guys, mute your.
That's it. So
everybody can go ahead and mute your phones. But because they love the cheeseburgers at this place, and man, it made me think of some of my favorite restaurants for different reasons. And I know if you can think about maybe a favorite restaurant you have, and how disappointing it would be if you have bad customer service. I put down just a couple. Of course, always Chick-fil-A. Everybody. We get the same service. It's a fast food place, but it feels like no matter where you go in the country, it's the same exact service. And then locally, Webb Custom Kitchen for me, I just love that place, and I always get good service. But if I had bad service there, it would really bother me and would stand out because I've gotten so used to no matter who my server is or where I'm at sitting in that restaurant, it's great service. And then I put Sammy's down there because I like a dive. I like to go to a dive where I know what I'm going to get. But see, there's a certain level of service I think I'm going to get. And then the old Villa Roma on Union Road, that's another dive that I just like dives. And so, I have an expectation of what I'm getting, and I'm comfortable there. That's why I put that. So then the Boundary House down at Calabash is a restaurant that's a really, really high level of food, but the experience every time we go. So it kind of sets the table that, this couple went there, and it really, if you think about it, it made absolutely no sense that they had a special that day that all they had to do was put an egg on top of the restaurant. All they had to do was say, yeah, we'll put an egg on top of your cheeseburger. But they just argued with them at every level, and even to the point of, well, this is going to cost you our business in the future, and they still wouldn't do it. And it really just made no sense whatsoever. The restaurant spent more time saying no instead of saying, taking an opportunity to say yes. And I think for us, I look at what we're into day to day with service business, and then with the construction business and just customers in general. We're so busy right now. There's a real danger if we're not careful of taking customers for granted because we're trying to go so fast. And to me, that's kind of what happened in that restaurant. They had their mindset on what they were going to do, and there was no varying from that. And as an owner and a leader, and anybody at the company, you never want a policy. That's kind of how I took the whole egg thing. They decided they made a bad policy that really hurt other customers, and so and I thought the end of that first part of the book, they talked about the company that knows how to acquire, optimize, and retain the customer the best gets paid the most, period. And the reason I wanted to put this in here is to be able to have really, really top people in a company. You have to be able to pay them. But to be able to pay them, you got to be able to treat customers like they're special from top to bottom. And to me, it is the chicken and the egg with that too. If you're not careful, that can turn into a bad thing. And I think we, listening to reading about that restaurant and that simple decision, everybody on this call, have we trained and empowered? I like the word empowered better than the trained word, but have we empowered? Are our coworkers empowered to make intelligent choices about taking care of our customers? And I say during a breakdown is what they said in the book, because day to day, minute by minute, if things are going straight forward, then that's not going to be a problem. But it's when something happens outside of the normal, or they're asked for an egg on their cheeseburger. And if something's really wrong with our service culture, if a simple request seems impossible to our customers, and I don't think it's as simple. It should be simple if we're culturally in the right format, but I think we want to make sure that we've empowered everybody to make smart decisions for customers. And then customers have more options today as a way to think about it than ever. And we've got to provide the best service every day and make sure that our customers are happy and be happy about providing that level of service. And I think some days that's really hard. And that's where the rub comes in. So the book lays out golden rules. And then overall, if the customer comes first, there's a good chance the customer will come back. And for us, that's what everything's about, is we want to have repeat customers, and we want to put ourselves in a position where the customer comes first every day. And I think we do a pretty good job, but I think putting it in place every day gets difficult with the way the world's moving. I really liked the first rule, the first golden rule: go beyond and beyond and beyond. If you remember, he's at the Denver airport, had some extra time, and he needed his shoes shined. And I love the kid wouldn't tell him the price. If you remember, the kid wouldn't tell him the price, but the kid doing the shoe shining had decided that he was going to provide. He asked him a simple question: how much time do you have? And once he found out he had a good bit of time, he was going to provide the best shoe shine that he had ever seen. And then the price went away. And if you remember, I think he gave a big tip. And by doing that, he set himself apart. And every time this guy goes to the airport, he wants to go get his shoe shined. Well, that repeat business, I think it's a simple way to look at it. So he gave him more and more and more. He went beyond what the standard was. And so, when you think you have done enough, do a little bit more. And we talked about the +1 in the Raven Fans book. Well, it's the same thing. When you think you're done, go a little bit further. And then we really get tied up a lot in the thought process that we have to spend more marketing dollars. But the better job we do every day on the forward thinking things for customers, the outcomes, the less advertising we have to spend, because all the happy customers tell everybody else to use us. And so I really would like us to focus on it because of that. So rule number 1, go beyond and beyond and beyond. And I think having a guy realizing that his shoes are one of the most important things that tell a story, I think it's a great way for us to view that, to go beyond, and the best shoe shine he ever had. Rule number two, golden rule number 2 was delight the customer every step of the way. And, and all of us have gotten in this mode, and it's really easy to relate to us in what we're having to do with customers right now. You go to a restaurant and there's going to be a long wait, and instead of it being a negative, it became a positive because they gave them something extra, like they gave them the rolls that were really hot, or they brought them a couple beers. They brought them, how cold do you want the beer? And they asked them good questions. So, we can do the same kind of things. If we're having to make a customer wait now, how can we offer them something extra so that they understand that the wait is worth it? Then when they had some issues in the restaurant with the appetizers, they didn't really like it. Well, they gave them a coupon for one on another return visit. The story of the guy ordered a Diet Coke and he didn't have it, but the guy ran next door to a grocery store. So it's what ways can we make the customer's experience more gratifying and delightful? And then the thought process, every restaurant has customers that have to wait, but maybe the ones that separate themselves are the ones that get better at the business. If we're gonna get better for our customers, then we have to get better at our business. And then what things, if you've got somebody that's going to be, we're late on something delivering, what can we do to delight the customer every step of the way? So the extra pieces makes them appreciate us more. And just like in that restaurant, the hot rolls and the cold beer made everybody appreciate the wait better. Golden rule number 3 was make the milestones magical and memorable. And I really do think really for us, this goes back to caring more about people than just transactions. The story of him calling the customer in Australia for 19 years in a row to wish him a happy birthday, but also being the one that does it first every day. And we got some people in the company that do this, and their customers love them more than everybody else. You end up, in the case of the Australian, you end up making a stronger client connection if you're following that golden rule. And there's other ways. It doesn't just have to be a birthday. It can be things like the car salesman that sent updates on the newest cars that were coming, the newest innovations that were coming. We can do the same kind of things. We can have better discussions with our customers or friends, and you're developing relationships with them. And then constantly communicating with you leaves, if you're making it personal, you'll become more and more a part of their life. And so as they're having events in their life, you're part of that, and it makes for a better relationship. And that's really what business is built on, is building relationships. And then golden rule number 4, for us, the service heart and making sure no matter what you're going to do, that we're serving our customers first. And I really like the whole Taylor conversation about they put that salesperson, in a position where she could easily have failed or said no, but she didn't do that. And her goal was to basically force them to buy from her for the rest of their lives, and do such a good job when she delivered to their house before they were going on their trip. She really set herself apart to the point that they didn't really have a choice but to buy from her, because she's going to be so much better than everybody else. And then I really liked, the thought process of over promising and then over deliver. I know in the past we've said under promise and over deliver, but I really like that thought process, that if you set the table that you're promising more than our competitors, and then you still over deliver on that, then there's no chance the customers will ever leave. And then, most people will use your service at least at one time, but the key is to get them to use their service forever. When they got back from their trip, and they had she had sent them a note that the pants had gone on sale, and she sent them extra money back, even though they weren't on sale. There's no doubt they're going to use her forever. The honesty and trust that built is what that main story, is the story of that golden rule. So build that trust. We had something happen today where, we could have not been honest 100% with a customer, but I got somebody that came to me and said, I'm going to do this. What do you think? And there's going to be more egg on our face today, but long term, they're going to trust us even more. So it was definitely the right thing to do. And golden rule number 5, use over the top communication to wow the customer. A big theme in all of these last 3 or 4 books is communication, internally and externally. And I do think we still struggle with that, but I think we're always going to struggle with it. But if our heart and mind is focused on openly communicating all the time internally first, then we'll always win with each other and then with customers. And the resort where they knew that it was their birthday and they shared that, and it is about making customers feel special. And I know that some of these examples are retail examples or maybe a hotel, but it's the same for us, guys. Our customers have choices and they can go somewhere else. And then I really thought it struck us. We have 7 divisions at the company. And often I hear us say they, or I'm going to get with them and get back with you, but it's really, everything should be we. And if you think about this example on golden rule number 5 on the communication piece, when the multiple departments in that organization were communicating so well that the customer, they could feel and know how close everybody was on communicating the experience. And it completely improved their overall experience because they knew everybody was talking about them in such a positive way. And those handoffs between divisions were more personal. And so I like the end of that says, it talks about the law of the encore, and the greater the performance, the louder the applause. And, we need to be looking for that applause by performing at a really high level every day. And the Bellman picture just stuck with me because they're the entrance into, the customer experience when you go to a hotel. They're the first people you see and they set the table. And a lot of times, we're that way with a service technician or the phone call that somebody takes. And so we get the chance to set that table for really a wow experience for the customer. So guys, it's a simple message today. If you haven't read the first of this book, please go back and do it. I sat and read it in about 15, 20 minutes. And that's the first 5 golden rules. I hope you've enjoyed it. The next is a simple thing today, but the next session will be in 2 weeks on 5:30, and go ahead and finish the $6,000 egg. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and we appreciate everything you're doing. And try to this week put some of this in place. These next couple of weeks, be thinking about how to over communicate. Be thinking about how we can enhance the customer experience every day with people around you, and how we can help each other win. Guys, hope you have a great day. Thank you.